we'll move on. So now we're gonna go to the next part of our episode where we do responses. We'll respond to your comments. Pretty much, that's what we're gonna do. And so
live on camera.
Feel free to always, tap in and ask a question and give a comment, whether we got it right or whether we got it wrong. Agree, disagree, or we can agree to disagree, whatever the case may be. But we want to know that these ripples are reaching you, and then we want you to create your own ripples. Give us something to think about. Give us something to combat. But so let's tap into these comments. Dun, dun, dun.
All right, this comment here is from a clip we posted titled, "Is it wrong for America to have strict immigration policies?" So we have a comment from, was it Venus, that says, "Sir, who told you that the same thing doesn't happen?" So I believe that was in reference to when you were saying when you go travel abroad, like there's, when you go to these different countries, they have strict immigration policies. That
they definitely do.
That we seem not to necessarily be as strict here in America with.
Yeah, there's very little loopholes that you can jump through to stay in another country as an American. And not to say that there aren't channels where you can stay there legally, but you're not going to go there and be like, get one of the natives there pregnant, and then now it's like, oh, my child is a native of this country or whatever, and now that's my child. I get to stay, right? So I get citizenship here. Like, it doesn't work like that. And if it does, and if you know an instance, what's her name, Venus? If you know of a place where that happened or a person that happened to, let us know. Let's talk about it, because in my experience, I don't think that's happening.
Yep. Next.
Wasn't there more comments on that one?
Those weren't necessarily referencing any response.
But I think we still should shout each person out, though.
Go back to it.
Yeah, so who was that? Who's the next one? I can't read that. I
think it's the L is these people with these names, bro. Like, that looks like a Lynette. Thank you, sir.
Okay, and you're welcome, Lynette. We out here.
Is that Ronald?
Creating ripples.
Ronald Ayers or Bayers. That's well said and the truth. So shouts out to you.
Thanks, Ronald. Thanks for tapping it in. Keep them ripples flowing. All right, so the next one.
This one was from a clip that we posted on TikTok about how do you create a better America modeling a racist past. So we have, who's this, Amanda Solvray. She said the division starts in politics because certain people think only the cis nuclear family is the correct family. Same with skin color. What I found interesting about these types of comments is how, going back to, like you said, the power of language, it's just fascinating to me how the individuals who don't believe in traditional nuclear families, most likely as well as they believe in women or trans women or trans men. It's just funny how it's like they refer to themselves as a woman or a man, but the actual heterosexual individuals as the cis.
Yeah,
that blows my mind.
They alter their title,
they alter our title.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. From their point, they alter the other person's title.
So it's like they hijack the title for our title. So as I'm a man or male, whatever you want to label it, I'm not no cis male or no I feel offended when you call me cis.
Right.
Personally, no different than you feel the same way they feel offended by being called whatever they feel offended by. I feel offended by being called cis. So this cis nuclear family, this cis male, this cis female, I get really pissed off when I hear like the cis woman one, only because it's just like, you are a man. Mm-hmm. Like how have you hijacked a woman? Like, you're not a woman, bro. And how you gonna tell a woman that she's a cis woman and you're the real woman?
And to her point, we're not saying there are circumstances where you could have, families are made up of different ethnicities, beliefs, and cultures. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? We're just referring to the traditional form,
quote unquote
traditional form. Now, and if you listen to what we're saying, even if you do have alternative nuclear family, in place, the things we're talking about, you still need to implement.
Mm-hmm.
Like what we're bringing and dropping and putting down is not contingent on the traditional.
How the individuals involved identify. Going back to your point again, like, why are you identifying with your sexuality or your race? Like, that's not what it's about.
That's not what we're talking about. So if you want to have two mommies, two daddies, or whatever the case, to each his own. Live and let live. But if you still want to be successful and you want to be, leading in the economy and have an economic wealth and stuff like that, and leave generational wealth, the things that we're talking about, you still need to
still applicable, right?
Yes. So that's the answer to your question. Like, we're not, saying that it's traditional is the only way. We know people there's all different type of variations, but it still should be comprised of the same fundamental elements and attributes that put you in a better position. Yep. Leading position in life. All right, our next one.
So this next one came from TikTok, a clip we posted that was titled, "Were Americans of African descent doing better before 1964 or after 1964?" So we have, looks like a Auntie Nelly. She laughing face emoji multiple times, and she says there were more people that stayed together out of survival. Two-parent homes don't always equate to a good household. I find these comments interesting only because they write them as if humans don't thrive together to survive. Like that's why humans thrive together. Is part of one of the main reasons why humans thrive together is to survive.
Survival. Right.
So that's kind of like a moot point. But then secondly, as if, no one ever said that two-parent households guarantee productive children, but they have said that you increase the probability of having successful, productive, and quote-unquote law-abiding citizens if they come from a two-parent household.
Right. So, in regards to
Auntie Nelly,
what we say is not, we know it is not everything or the all be all.
End all be all
with what we say. We understand that there's gray areas, there's exceptions to the rules, and with every topic. But like you said, Dane, like there is studies that prove that having two-parent households usually end up with a better product as far as the child being a productive citizen compared to one-parent households. And they also say if it's going to be a one-parent household, it's better that the child is in the one-parent household governed by the father.
Yeah, also. So they said that the single father household has the same probability of producing the productive youth as the two-parent household.
Yeah. So, we're not saying, we understand what you're saying. We understand that, it doesn't always equate to a good household, because you can have a two-parent household and the mother could be a drunk and the father could be an abuser.
Yeah, fact.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, we understand that.
Yeah, right.
We understand it, but
we've made space for that.
Right. We get that, But
again,
we just
the
hope
balance
that you
of
get
probabilities, though.
Right.
And that's what we saying. Like,
right.
Just like the shaking of the dice, in a sense. It's like there's a higher probability if the kids are being raised in a two-parent as opposed to a one-parent. And if it is a one-parent, then the data says that it's best if the probability of success to typically come if it's the father governing the household as opposed to the mother.
Yep.
That's just what the science says. All right, next.
How many more of these we got?
This is the last one. So this is from Instagram, but it's pretty much the same topic when we were talking about were Americans of African descent doing better or worse before after 1964. So we have a Harman. He said, "Why would our oppressors try to help us?" Is, I think, the question people during that time forgot to ask themselves. So it seems like he's saying that I guess they're doing this
1964.
Yeah, during 64, right? So
because when I first read that, I thought when we had this conversation, I thought he was talking about prior to 64. I'm like, they really wasn't trying to help us. We was helping ourselves.
Right.
But he was saying, this person is saying when 1964 came and they came and introduced this act and
The Civil Rights Act.
the Civil Rights Act specifically.
Yeah.
Why would we think they were implementing something that would actually help us?
Right.
Why would we even, buy into that? And so I agree with you, Harmon. Like, they wasn't thinking, and you know what I'm saying?
Because Martin Luther King, like the speech before, either the speech before or after, well, not after, but when he was assassinated.
Not the speech after he was assassinated.
But that speech right prior to that was when he was going to, well, he did acknowledge that I think I've led my people into a burning house.
Yeah.
But that's what he was talking about, the impact that the civil rights movement had did in regards to, destroying the infrastructure that we did have to create because we were pretty much outcast from participating in the dominant white society infrastructure. So we had to create our own communities. We had to be self-sufficient. But when we quote unquote integrated, part of that integration was we had to give up our infrastructure.
Yeah, and isn't that crazy how that speech is never highlighted?
Never.
We don't hear that during Black History Month.
Right. Right.
We just keep hearing that I have a dream that one day my 4 little children will grow up and not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today.
Yep.
Right. We know that all God's children, black men and white men, boys and girls, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics.
All right. Protestants
and Catholics, yeah. We hear that all the time. And then there was something else I was about to say. But yeah. Yeah, I agree with you, Harmon. Thank you for that ripple. And that's good stuff. I like the response from the people.